Hey, this is Josh Lugo, and I'm here at Universal Nissan, and it brings me great pleasure to introduce you to our brand new redesigned 2021 Nissan Rogue. Now, the color we're looking at right now is one of the most prestigious colors I want to say that we have to offer in this new vehicle. This is called Champagne Silver. Most people call it gold, silver, gold, take your pick. Now, one of the biggest redesigns with this vehicle is definitely, I want to say, almost the whole vehicle, including the fascia, the side, and this one's actually a two-tone with a panoramic sunroof. That's right, we have panoramic sunroofs in our Rogue. Now, going around, this is going to be the SL trim level. The SL trim comes standard with a round view camera, which is the front, side, and back camera, and it gives you an aerial view every single time that you go ahead and put it into the camera button or when you put it in reverse. Now, you actually have access to getting into the car not only from the front but also from the back, making it nice and easy for any sort of situation. Stepping inside this vehicle, you'll notice a complete redesign. If you sit in this one in the 2020, you will not even know which vehicle you're sitting in. You will not even believe you're sitting in a Rogue. Now, once you step in, you're gonna have a few features standard. I gotta fix it a little bit. So in order to engage the vehicle, to turn it on, you can actually remote start it from outside, or you can do it from inside by holding down your foot on the brake and then pressing the button. Beautiful redesigned screen that we have here as well. Now, with the SL, you do get the panoramic sunroof, also available on the SV with the premium package. You get nice paddle shifters here. Now, there has been an improvement in performance. This actually has 10 more horsepower and 10 more torque, which is 181 horsepower and 181 feet of torque. It gives you that extra oomph on your drive, which we'll explain later. Now, in order to shift gears, we have this new shifter right here. Instead of having the more non-premium looking one, this is actually a complete redesign as well. So in order to engage into the gears, you just have to hold this button, and for example, you go up and it's going to put it on reverse, and if you want to put it back in parking, you just press the button. Same thing if you want to go for drive. There you go. Now, this one has an automatic hold system right here, so as you're driving, for example, as long as you have your seatbelt on, if you press the button right here, after engaging the vehicle and putting it in drive, you're going to see a little hold there. And then if you let go of the brake, once the little A flashes, you can go ahead and let go. Put it back in park. You can actually switch between drive modes with a little knob right here. So it's completely digital. You just press down for eco, up for standard, and up for sport mode. So what eco does is basically it keeps your RPMs nice and low, so that way when you're shifting gears, you don't use as much acceleration. And then sport mode does the quite opposite effect. It lets you rev the vehicle 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, so that way you have more acceleration. Now, my personal favorite thing is, of course, the paddle shifters. If you like sports vehicle, this is actually a nice little touch that they added to the Rogue. And this one comes standard with our Pro Pilot system as well as our intelligent cruise control. Now, the way this is a little different than what other manufacturers have to offer is that our intelligent cruise control will actually detect up to 2 vehicles in front of you. So the way it works is that as you're driving, it's going to detect the vehicle, adjust your speed accordingly based on the distance that you set, which is this button right here. And it's going to basically keep you at a nice safe distance. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can actually set it to the lowest distance, which is the little bar right there, and it's the closest one you have, which is 1 bar. But the difference is, if you have the vehicle in front of you transition to another lane, you're not going to just go, say, 85, 90 miles an hour into the next car in front of you. It's going to be a very seamless transition between the car that's moving and the one that's run in front of it, which is the vehicle it does detect. And then the Pro Pilot Assist is semi-autonomous driving. Not fully autonomous quite yet, but we might get there someday. So as you're driving, it's going to detect the lanes, and it's going to do micro corrections with the steering wheel. You're actually going to feel the steering wheel move. Might freak you out a little bit, but don't worry, the car is actually trying to help you make sure you're nice and safe. Now, stepping towards the rear, we're actually going to have tri-climate control, which is something that we didn't have offered before and not available on the RAV4. You can actually, in the back here, adjust your climate for anybody that's in the back. Before we didn't have that available. It was just the vents going backwards and you had to adjust it in the front. Now the passengers can do that as well. Definitely more width. When you actually sit back here, it does feel a little wider. And then when we go towards the back, you're gonna have our emergency brake system as well as our sonar. So the way that that works is if you're about to hit any stationary object when you're backing off of place, it's gonna calculate the speed and distance so that way the car knows how hard to stop. So I don't want you to think that it's one of those things where, oh my God, the sensor's on, it's gonna make me brake every time. It actually won't. But if you're about to make contact with something like that close, when you're like right about here, then it'll stop. But if you're coming really fast, as an emergency, it's gonna lock the brakes. Might shock you a little bit, but it's gonna save your life or possibly prevent you from damaging any other car. Now, the biggest change we had is actually the divide and hide was taken away for most models. You can actually still get it, but it's an accessory that you need to add on. Right now, we have more width, like our competitors before, such as RAV4. So you actually get to put more spaces, and you can actually condense the seats from back here, just like our Muranos. Now, as you can see, you actually have it completely flat instead of having kind of like a gap between. So if you have any animals that you might want to put back here, and it's just you traveling with your animal, they'll have nice and a lot of fun during those long trips. And then with this one, we have our power lifted gate and our motion sensor. If you have the key, if I have the doors on, it's actually going to prevent it from doing that, but that's okay. You have your lifted gate right there. Now this one, if you look at it from this angle, again, one of the things that impresses me the most is this two-tone combination. You actually have the black on the top paired with our silver. So that is actually not standard with every model, but it is available all across from the SL trim levels and up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any further questions, come see me, Josh Lugo, here at Universal Nissan. Take care.